Oh, it's live.
Broadcasting.
Oh, we're here. We're live.
We're here.
I was like, whoa. See, when the live thing hits, it confuses me. I'll be like, but Jobber Nation, welcome to an exclusive JTP Lounge episode. As always, I'm Janelle from HR here with Mr. Black. So Wilkins is still at work. That is okay. We love him. Make the money. Dollar bills, y'all. But we got one of our first guests on the Jobber Tears podcast from way eons back. We were in a small little room. But I'm going to let him introduce himself because, he's the best big man in the business.
Yes, the best big man in the business, the Jurassic Juggernaut, the top dog, the Jurassic Juggernaut, Vince Steele. Thank you guys for having me again, man.
Welcome back.
Before we get started, I wanna give you guys your flowers, because since I started with you guys and all that stuff, man, all y'all been doing is everything new. I'm getting up to the next level. Shout out to all y'all endeavors and everything like that.
Thank you.
Y'all making mainstream, baby.
We try, but you are the true inspiration, of always going and pushing it to the next level, because that's what you seem to have done in your career. Of how long is it? How long have you been wrestling now?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell my age. I'm going on 22 years in the business.
22 years. I feel like who else is over 20? Well, outside of the big, those are on WWE, whatever. But who else on the indies, is been in the business as long as you?
Wow, Grim Reaper.
I love him.
Homicide. Dan Moff. Oh wow, there's a lot of guys.
See, so that's decent. That's good. What keeps you going? I know there's been, ups and downs, lefts and rights.
Oh yeah.
But what has kept you in the business?
Well, it's the love of this business, and this is something that I'm actually good at, and it kept me out of trouble, being a inner city kid coming up from the project where you only had 3 lanes: play basketball, be a rapper, or sell drugs. So I didn't choose none of those paths. I decided to become a professional wrestler, and to this day, a lot of people look up to me because of that decision I made.
Right. So talk about your beginnings. Talk about your train. How did you start training? Who did you go to? Did you walk up to somebody and was like, yo, I want to wrestle? How did that all go down?
I was always a fan, but I wasn't a traditional fan. I wasn't introduced to the product like WWE or NWA. I was actually introduced to the business through Glow. Because me and my family. Yeah. Because my family is like a music family. We love hip hop, we love R&B, Spanish music. So our shows was Video Music Box every Saturday. Soul Train right after that, and then right after Soul Train, Glow would pop on, and we left TV on. I started watching Glow.
That's interesting, because most people don't talk about Glow back in the day.
No, they don't talk about Glow now.
Well, shout out
on Netflix.
Some do, yeah. Regardless if you watch it on Netflix or if you do have the channel that has it with Jeannie Buss is now the owner, and they do their shows. So
no, that's not Glow. That's Wow.
Shout out to them and the girls.
But they wouldn't have that unless they had Glow. So
that was true.
It's a different type of thing. But okay, Glow is what got you. So who on the show was your number one, your go-to crush?
No, not crush. The Voodoo Queen.
Why not?
Big Bad Mama. I wasn't crushing on her because she reminded me of my mom's. Because that's how my mom used to get up in the morning with the socket and her little Noxzema taking off her makeup from the night before. So
that's terrible.
But that I know she's gonna be mad at me, but I love you, Ma. But yeah, man, and then becoming a fan, and I ended up watching Superstars, finding out that it was later on in the day, and I got hooked. But getting into the actual business, watching local public access, and I'm seeing that there's local shows going on and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, how is that even possible? Come to find out, some of the guys used to go to an after-school program in Patterson Projects. There was this church that had an after-school program. They had the kids go in there, and it was full of mats. So there used to be the backyard on one side and the kids are flipping on the other side. Got into that. then they linked me up with some people that actually did shows in rings and stuff like that. I started, and that's when I stepped into the beautiful doors of Doghouse.
Mm.
Okay. So how was your?
And here's a known fact. I am one of the last of the original Doghouse, but I didn't graduate
Why?
Why?
because unfortunately they were shut down.
Oh, so you didn't graduate, and it wasn't on you. So wait. So when they
Yeah.
shut down, then what did you do?
Yeah.
We found out there was other avenues. We decided to go over the river and found New Jersey. Started doing local shows there, and then we found local promoters back in New York. And you know, in the beginning, the first like 5 years, I was only wrestling during the summer, so I would do like block parties and stuff like that. And then once that came into fruition, found other promotions that actually running a full-time schedule and stuff like that. And then that's when the ball started rolling. And then the remix of Pro Wrestling Vince Steele was born.
So how you got the name Jurassic Juggernaut? Was that
question?
Was that always your name, or they gave you one
No.
name before that if it wasn't? So tell me the evolution of your names.
Coming up with me myself as a professional wrestler, I had so many gimmicks, man. I was the real Canadian Vincent DePoo.
I'm sorry. How did you play that?
Yeah. I was a kid from the Bronx.
That's very Scott Hall of you. That's very Scott Hall of you.
It was a Mountie that it came into like a Canadian professional wrestler, and it was crazy. Then it went from Vincent DePoo to Vince Steele to the remix of Pro Wrestling Vince Steele to what now you guys see, the Jurassic Juggernaut Vince Steele. And the name actually came, big shout out to my boy Cheyenne Ortiz. He was describing me to the fans when he was doing commentary. And like, he's a Jurassic Juggernaut, blah, blah, blah. And then when I heard it back, I'm like,
oh, so he just wow.
So and then shout out to Ace Pro Wrestling, which what I didn't get from Doghouse, I got the business aspect with Ace Pro Wrestling. Mike Morgan, he taught me how to really make money in the business. And with that, I used Jurassic Juggernaut, and they came up with the marketing stuff, and the logo came up, and we was off to the races from there.
Oh,
that's really dope. So, okay, 22 years. In what year did you really start to feel like, okay, I'm taking off? Like, because, you get your first, you mentioned the first 5 years, it was just like you were part-time. And then, so,
I was part-time until 2017. Let's just say that.
Ooh, and that's more recent.
Mad recent.
What was the shift?
Well, the shit was my personal life really got in the way, and people who were involved in my life were pretty much holding me back. So once things went south, I decided to step it up, and that's where I met you guys during this run. I created podcasters. Shout out to the Dirty Heels.
Shout out to Dirty Heels. Dirty Heels. My God.
Like it's crazy, man. And shout out to EC Negro, Jarrell. Because if it wasn't for him putting me where he had put me in Creative Die, I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
NYC.
Yeah, that's where we first saw you. Remember Yardley? Yes. We went to that show in the Bronx, and we went on the 6th train, and we took all the way up there, and we was front row. I don't even know how we got front row. I don't even know how that happened. Because I don't even know how. But we were sitting there, and I think was it a 6-person tag, a 6-man tag? It was something. There was a lot of y'all in the ring, and it had no business with a lot of y'all in the ring. And you threw somebody
versus everybody.
You threw somebody on one of them pillars. Guys. You threw somebody on one of them pillars, and listen. I've seen Mr. Black Pop. I've seen it live and in color, but that first time He popped when you threw him on that pillar? I've never heard the end of that. That is how he knew of you to this day.
To this day. I don't know where that video is.
I have no idea.
But it was floating around for a while. Suddenly.
But it didn't go viral.
No. So talk about the video that did go viral.
Well, I have two actual videos, and they're both botches. The first video, I was doing a show in Harlem. It was a long battle royal. I'm like, I gotta surprise these people with something big. So my mind, I decided to go and try to do a coast to coast. And a coast to coast is from jumping from one side of the ring to the other. But the thing was, I misplaced my footing and gravity got the best of me, and I landed flat on my face. And with that went viral thanks to Botchamania.
Botchamania.
But what made it more cool was that Ridiculousness picked it up, and they paid your boy a bag to put it on. So
let me get a dollar.
Wait.
That bag is long gone.
Wait. Back up. Ridiculousness. Wait. I didn't know that they actually pay people. I just thought that, hey, can we just clip? I know they pay you a decent check. What?
Well, because it's his likeness, it's his property, low key. Yeah. So they have to get approval from the person in the video to play the video.
That. But I mean, that I know, like, hey, you got to ask them, proving them. But I didn't know that they actually gave you a good bag. Like, wow.
Damn.
And shout out to Rob Deerdeck for that. And
I'm not gonna hold you. When I saw that on Ridiculousness, I said, "Why do I know this person?"
and it's so cool because you had Chris Jericho as a guest there, and they're laughing, making jokes and stuff. We're like, all right, cool, ha ha ha. But ha 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 on everybody else because that gave me more recognition and more money in my pocket, if you know what I mean, when it comes to booking.
Correct. So I'm interested to hear how you got into, because you were doing a lot of shows in Florida for some time.
Yes.
My bad.
Talk about your time in Florida for a little bit, and what are some of the differences between, I guess, in that sense of territories, even though there's no real territories anymore, but you know. Oh, and before you answer that, those that are on the live feed and want to talk to Vince, want to say hi to Vince, want to ask him a question, please do. But if you have not gave Mark Zuckerberg permission, please put your name at the end of your comment, because somebody just said that, and I was like, I don't know who said that. So it's somebody that's in that match. But yeah, talk about your time in Florida and what are some of the differences that you noticed from wrestling here in the Northeast versus down in Florida.
Well, that is what that was also the start of me venturing off, getting more bookies and stuff. Thanks to my boy Cha Cha Charlie, who put the word in for me in Florida.
Cha Cha
went out to Florida. we did what it did, and the crowd was going crazy. They're like, "Who's this big guy? Where did you get him from?" And from there, sure got a good deal, and I was flying there every other week, back and forth to Florida. And shout out to CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling, that's the promotion, and now they're claiming the last territory, so they're taking all over Florida now and stuff like that. But my time there was very cool. Me and my rivalry with Cha Cha Charlie manifested to the Cha Cha Juggernauts, and we have our own little mascot by the name of Ralphizzi. Shout out to Ralphizzi, shout out to Cha Cha Charlie. Shout out to all the fans out in South Florida.
No, yeah, that was.
But yeah, man.
So if you was not doing wrestling, what would you be doing besides wrestling? Like, what version of you as a little kid, what was your original dream job other than wrestling? Like, if the wrestling didn't pan out, what would be a dream job you'd be doing right now?
I think if my path was a little different, I would probably be a normal person, you know, going to a regular job,
You're already
9 to
normal.
5.
I
But
don't even.
well, this wrestling world is a little crazy.
Tell me about
If
it.
I'm a big fan of the Dark Side of the Ring, and a lot of that stuff that they made, that shit really happens.
Speaking of that, their new season starts next Tuesday, I believe, with the first episode being about Sunny and Chris Candido. So they're starting back. Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring, for those that are watching, will return. I believe it starts next week, Tuesday, on Vice.
And one of my favorite dramas, Heels on Stars, they're gonna be returning
That's
July
theirs.
28th.
Ooh, I love Heels.
That's their show.
I'm like, man, why you made me wait 2 years though? Like, man, I wanted another season right after. But I'm happy that they got the second season. Hopefully, they got a third season too.
What you like about the show?
They got a lot of surprises. The struggles that the promotion went through. I know exactly what they're going through. With bigger promotions, always taking talent and stuff like that. And you know the whole drama thing. I never had a sibling in the business, but I think that's a cool concept. Brought me back to Owen and Brett and stuff like that. So.
I mean, you kind of do have a sibling who don't want to be in front of the camera, but is sitting back behind the camera, like he don't think I know he not there, but he there.
That's my guy too. That's my guy too. That's my guy.
So don't think I don't know.
Shout out to Giovanni, aka Gordo.
That's Fat Man. As he called him. I never forget when he introduced me to him. He said, "It's Fat Man." He said, "It's Fat Man." I said, "What is your real name? Like, what are we doing?" Because if you see them both together, they both big guys. So what are we talking about here? But okay, so we talked about your time in Florida, which was really cool, and I was really excited for you on a personal note, because you want to see, you know, your guys come out of their bubble. And I think that sometimes we forget, like, we're in our own bubble here in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, where we just like, we're gonna do what we do. But it's
Florida,
really
Vince Steele was a different animal.
Yeah, like I was here for it. He was a total face. He was out here cha-cha-cha. You ain't see? He was outside.
And I was cha-cha-cha all the way to the bank, because that was one thing about Florida, man. They really support people that they like. And I will go there 1 week with shirts. I have to make another order when I fly back. It's like everywhere we went, I was selling out my merch. You know, and shout out to those fans, man.
I mean, you are an attraction, sir. They should be buying your shit, you know? Like, and I feel like it's funny because you see different areas of wrestling and what works and what doesn't work. And it's so funny because merch up here, I feel like with like the t-shirts, the stickers, like that shit sells. But like if you go to like Texas or like down the South or things like that, they don't really have tables like that. It's like once in a blue. Like Zuka does a really good job with his merch, and a few others, but like that's not really a big thing. And I feel like that's a thing here that it's super important.
Also, the problem with the guys and stuff like that, like the guys that are in the business, they don't know how to market themselves and how to market their character to make the money and stuff like that. That's why I was always blessed to have been taught certain things that we use in real life that we use in the business, and that's what it is. And then hopefully soon I'm gonna be doing seminars and stuff, and I'm gonna discuss that part of the business, so guys, you can make money. It's like, to be honest, I'm 37 now, and I'm not looking for a big contract right now. I know I'm at prime.
Ooh.
I'm at prime age. But I can make a decent living by doing what I'm doing here, thanks to the internet and stuff like that, those avenues.
Do you think if you got like in that early stage of your career, if there was like a real heavy social media presence, do you think you would have went after the contract then?
Well, like I was saying, my personal life was really like the catalyst of keeping me back. So if I didn't have that, I would have been doing tryouts left and right. I'd have been traveling all over. It was just me being insecure with myself thinking that I won't get the same love, which it was totally the opposite. Because to be honest, being a professional wrestler in New York, unless you have the right friends, wink wink, you're not gonna be featured anywhere.
So let me ask you a question. What's
That,
the reason for that? Like, what's the reason that it's so hard to really come up in New York and you know the right people? Why is that?
it's how it's structured, especially like in New York itself. It's hard to run a show. Period.
Say that
So
louder.
so many avenues that you have to deal with just to prep for the show. It's not all simple where you sell tickets and then you pay guys and that's it. You have to, worry about EMTs and doctors being at the building and curfew times and stuff like that. And but New Jersey's a way different animal. New Jersey is a lot safer. It's say Wild West, but you can at least put a product out, and it gives you the opportunity to put a product out. You don't have too many hoops to jump through in New York, just like in New York. But yeah, like I've been helping with Shadow Wrestling Alliance since this birth, and the most difficult part is to actually put the show together to have a set budget. Because to be honest, pro wrestling, the set budget is never going to be set.
It's never set. The number of matches you want to do is never the amount of matches you do. Okay?
Exactly.
But you mentioned Shadow and the logos behind you. You're representing the home team. Talk about the beginnings of Shadow. Where did it come from? Whose idea was it? How did we get the name? Let's talk about the history.
Okay, Shadow Wrestling Alliance, it manifested in I guess 2021. Right after the pandemic really hit and everything was starting to come back together. We decided to start running shows in Florida since I had such a big fan following and stuff like that. And my brother Giovanni, he already know the struggles I had up in New York, where I wasn't getting loved by promoters and wasn't being presented the right way. So we decided to take Shadow and start our own little thing. And we started doing shows in Florida. We ended up doing eight solid shows, but due to marketing problems and
haters,
other people. Not haters. Yeah,
I can say it. You can't say it. But I can say it. Haters.
You promoted Janelle. Stop
but
it.
I wasn't a promoter for Shadow Wrestling Alliance. I was a fan. So I can say
it. People didn't want us to win. And it got to our partner down there too. He got infected by that little cancer and things went south. Last May. We had a bad falling out, and then we decided to bring the promotion up north. And even though we knew it was going to be a little bit harder and more footwork for myself and my brother, we decided to take it on full steam. We like every new promotion started out slow and hard, and just trying to find the proper formula with the proper guys to showcase. Yeah. And I felt, since me being in business so long, we handpicked a certain guys that I felt personally they was not getting any love or the proper representation. So we decided to make a little group together, and then boom. And as we built, we had opportunities thanks to Super Craze for letting us use their building for a few shows. Shout out to the Mecca, Richfield Park. We had our last Shadow show there in February called First Class Amore. Shout out to Violence and Suffering for coming with us, together with us on WrestleMania weekend. We legit set the tone for the entire week of WrestleMania. And we what we expected, we surpassed what we expected. So now we decided to come back now, May 28th with Shadow. We actually changed the look of it with a new logo, with a solid team now. Shout out to the guys that's part of our roster. First Class, Super Georgie, who else do we have? Yaya, Mantis, Ghost Shadow, Matakia. Those are our main core guys, and we're gonna be bringing in more noticeable names and stuff to work these guys. That's what's gonna be different than any other promotion out there. And we're very culture presentable. Like we're big on the Puerto Rican wrestling. We're big on the black superstars of wrestling. We want every genre of professional wrestling in our promotion, and that's what we're going to be giving to you every show that we have.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw the new logo and everything like that. It feels a lot different. It feels like a real new era of your company. Like it gives like a real like. It feels like when I look at it, it feels like a It feels like I don't want to say like a real like. It feels like you really are promoting like a UFC boxing match. The feel of it, the black and white pictures and stuff like that. Whoever came up with that color scheme,
big
the
fight
marketing,
film.
yes, like like I'm looking at it, I was just like, yo, this is hot. This is hot. Like, so who idea was to like change the logo, the color schemes? Who idea was like who was the man behind the marketing, behind the relaunch of the brand?
Well, we brought in new people behind the scenes. Shout out to my boy Isaac Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
He worked with Violence and Suffering. He worked with House of Glory. He worked in a bunch of GCW and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
he's coming with us. He's coming with us full time, and as an executive producer. So with his vision and his connections, man, we decided to change it up, man. We wanted to give Shadow a big fight feel for it. And as you can see with the card that we got, with the card that we have, you know what I'm saying? I'm very excited on how we're gonna present this new era of Shadow Wrestling.
So what are some of the New York guys that you're bringing in now we may be familiar with, or the audience may be familiar with?
Well, I hope you guys are very familiar with First Class. This is a group. This is the Dominican version of the Four Horsemen. That's how I'm presenting it to you guys. The Dominican version, and not any ordinary Dominican. This is Washington Heights Dominicans, hookah, partying, all that. Like that those are the men of the night that we have on First Class. Only Dominicans fly First Class. That's their name. And with guys like Sebastian Cage, El Hombre, Johnny Santos, La Maldita Crema, Tony Leyenda, and the Big Dog, the Big Papi of professional wrestling, Big Cuzzo, is a part of that team. So those guys, these are guys that behind the scenes deserve more exposure, because these guys are the future of this business, and they're going to surpass and anything that's given to them. We have guys who never even had a chance, who've been in the business just as long as I have, in the Super Sensei, Super Georgie. We bring him all the way from Puerto Rico. He is one of the top trainers in Puerto Rico. So a lot of the guys that are from Puerto Rico was trained by this man.
Like who?
And you ever heard of Mega Wolf?
Of course.
Mega Wolf was one of his guys. A lot of guys went to his school to learn his style of wrestling. Like he's a mainstay in Puerto Rico. So like he hasn't been given the opportunities to leave the island and really pursue. And we decided to take him along with us. We got guys like Montequilla. He's ripping the indies but I feel like he needs to be on a bigger platform.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who else? Who else do we have? A New York City legend, Ghost Shadow, one of the originators of the fast paced style of wrestling in the New York scene. Ghost Shadow, um,
Oh.
guys like Mantis, who came out of Johnny Rod's school and like stuck in the limbo doing random indies. These are guys that should be showcased to the highest level. You know what I'm saying?
So
And then big shout out, Janelle. I want you to, I guess, mention this man, this guy for me. He's your boy. He's the
Of
Jabbateer's boy
course.
and
He
my boy
is
also.
he is so this Sunday, as Vince mentioned, Shadow Wrestling has their event at Ridgefield Park, the Mecca in Jersey, and our beloved the gifted one Yaya will be sponsored by the Jabba Tears podcast this Sunday at Shadow Wrestling. So we're super excited to have him up here because normally he would be in Charlotte. But he's here in New York at home because he's from here. He's here for a month, so I'm actually really glad he was able. You guys were able to get that together because I think it was him and Brian Keith for the first time
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Woo! That is two
And,
different wrestling styles that I that's interesting.
and then the thing is, on Loki, I really think Yaya is underrated. Like he
Oh,
should
super.
be, he should he should be doing
thank you.
Impact or something, or going overseas. Cause this kid is remarkable, man. The
Thank
stuff that
you.
he can do,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah, for his
Big shout
size,
out
his
to him.
speed. Yeah.
I give him a big shout out all the time, and I always tell him like, "Yo, bro, I'm bringing you in, bro. I just need you to be available when I need you." And everything worked. He told me in advance that he was be available, and
Mm-hmm.
we set it up, man. And I wanted him to debut and debut the right way.
No, and we appreciate that just because in knowing, I know just as much as you do in terms of booking stuff and doing that stuff. So it's not always easy when someone's not available or they can't get to you and things like that. So when it does kind of come together, it's meant to be. So I'm super glad. So once again, those that are in the tri-state area, before you come out the legends for AEW Double or Nothing, you can stop by for the afternoon delight of Shadow Wrestling out in Ridgefield Park. What time does doors open? What's all the deets real quick for the
Mm-hmm.
show?
We're we're gonna open the doors exactly at 3 p.m. and show bell time will be 4 p.m. and exclusively we are gonna be live on Fight TV. I don't know if you guys have Fight TV or whatever, but they've been plugging us like crazy. So we're
Really?
hoping to get, yeah.
I'm gonna check it after. I'm gonna check it because I got Fight TV. Because normally I would because that's where I used to order when at the old house when I used to have the little like viewing parties at the house that
Janelle
Yardley
Underground.
misses. Yeah. The Impact pay-per-views were on Fight, so I would order them on Fight. And
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor would be on Fight, so I would order it on Fight. So no, that's a big deal to be on Fight TV. To have
Live.
that type of access live, yeah, because live ain't cheap. Just warning everyone, live ain't cheap. That's why we don't go. That's
Just
why
like
we don't do live.
just like
So
big Mr. Black was saying, man, he was like the presentation is different now and stuff like that. So we decided to change it up, man. We want to get noticed, and I want my brand to be noticed, and also to give back to my brothers in arms that don't get the chances that they get, like a lot of guys do. Because you're
no,
not
that
kissing the
makes
right
sense.
eyes. You're not changing thing on the fly without permission and stuff like that. So you know, but
Yeah.
I maintain a strong structure, and I'm always Shadow Wrestling Alliance. We are always willing to align ourselves with any other promotion that wants to work and make things do it the right way.
You hear that? Across the country, Shadow Wrestling is looking to always partner, which I think is dope. And honestly, partnering works better when you do it with people that you know and that support you and you support them because it just makes working a lot easier. So in terms of
Yeah,
Shadow, what's next?
shout out to BCW. That's one of our long-term
Shout out
partners.
to
Shout out to
Anthony
Shout out to
Cole.
Anthony
Cole.
Cole.
Shout out to Anthony Cole.
Um,
He got his next show is actually the day after ours. So Battle Club will be June 17th, and then BCW is June
summer
18th.
summer on Smash. That's the name of the show.
That's
So
Sunday,
make
right?
sure, yeah, it's the Sunday in Ritual Park. So make sure to go out support Anthony Cole and the guys out there at BCW.
On Father's Day. On Father's Day. What better way to take your father out to wrestling?
Are you wrestling the show? Did he book you?
No, unfortunately, due to things, I'm taking a little rest after the 28th, but
Oh,
I will be back. I'll be back in the mix June 24th in the Bronx for
talk a little bit about that. Because
let me get
there's
the
been a
address
lot
for
more
you right
shows in
now.
the Bronx more recently,
Hell
which is
yeah.
pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
I think that is really, really dope. Trust me, if I could have found a really decent location in Harlem, just please, Jobber Sam would have been in Harlem. But
Well, let's work on that. I got some
next year,
hookups in Harlem.
I'm already. I'm not doing nothing extra no more for July 29th. But next year though, we can talk about that. Cause
Definitely.
I'm at my top with that. So we're gonna stick to what we got. But it's really cool to kind of just be in this reemergence, I think, of independent wrestling here in New York and New Jersey, because I think a lot of things kind of like once the pandemic kind of happened, everything kind of just was halted,
It slowed
and then
down.
just to, yeah, and then just
But
to kind of see
everybody, yo,
everybody coming back.
just know, I am the pandemic MVP. I was the
Well, because you
only
was
one
wrestling in
winning.
Florida
He was
I was in Florida in the
where they didn't
in the
have no mask
cesspool.
mandate.
No mask mandate. You can walk out barefooted if you wanted to.
Walk out
They didn't
naked if you
care.
want to. This shit is wild. Shit was
But
wild.
yo,
But you know what? I loved it because it showed that wrestling is essential. It showed that
Shout out to
the
Vince.
show can go on. So it was dope.
Shout out to Vince
yeah, and then
McMahon for
the
that.
thing was that first month, where everything was completely shut down. I went to Florida and we filled that place up with 450 people.
Did anybody get COVID?
No,
No.
yo, we set the arena up where two people were allowed to sit with each other 6 feet apart. People walking
Oh
around,
wow.
disinfecting the place. Like they had everything structured out where it was safe to be in, and it was awesome, man.
Wow.
Totally awesome.
That's pretty dope.
I
didn't
would
know
say
they.
that the pandemic, like, I feel like, in my opinion, is just only the strong survive. That's especially in wrestling, because a lot of people that 2019 before the pandemic, it was hot, it was all over the place. Pandemic happened, a good chunk of wrestlers never came back. To this day, some wrestlers I be looking up like, I saw you at this club. I mean, this federation. Now, bro, I don't see you nowhere. Like, what happened? Some of them just quit wrestling and just became regular civilians. I'm looking like,
I'm gonna need y'all to think wrestlers is regular. What's wrong with y'all?
No.
Like I'm saying, like y'all not saying like.
I always say this: for you to be a wrestler, you gotta have some kind of craziness to you. Some kind of craziness. Not all the way, but some kind of craziness. To take that back bump, you gotta tell yourself this shit feels good, because that shit don't feel good.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Vince, how was that first bump that you ever took? How'd that feel?
Yes, how was that?
Oh man,
It
wasn't the day of, but the next day was the worst. I get up, I think I injured my spinal cord, like I got a headache, and you feel it all through my spinal cord and everything like that. And with Doghouse, they had a Japanese style ring to teach you how to bump on. So it wasn't a regular flexi beam. This was just hard, like a boxing ring that had no give. And but I kind of cheated before I got there. And I was always a fan of the game. And I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Secrets of Pro Wrestling, that little TV series that came
on NBC. The guy with the mask?
I used that. Yeah, and then Dusty Rose was on it, but he was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Giving out the
Wait,
secrets
wait,
of
wait,
pro
wait, 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 wait,
wrestling.
wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Dusty Rose was on it?
He was the booker
Yeah, I was gonna say a
in
lot
the
of
shadow. The booker that was Dusty.
but a lot of people don't realize, and that's why like even watching Cody now, it sometimes it's hard because to have his dad here, like if Dusty was still here with us, like it'd be a different vibe. But Dusty had his hands in so many different things in that time that a lot of people don't know. So like he definitely made an impact in the game of wrestling just from his
I
And I
mind, his
wish,
never knew
psychology.
that. I never knew that.
yeah.
I just thought that, like, this is my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion. I just thought that it was guys like, who was like jobbers in WWE, whatever, whatever, and like Fox came to them or whoever said, "Hey guys, I have an idea. Let's expose pro wrestling. Here's a bag, and that's it." But I didn't know that
But that was
Dusty.
also that was also during the time when WCW fell out and stuff like that, and Dusty needed money. So
Yeah.
that was during that time. So Dusty did
Well,
what he had to
he
do
was
to
looking
make
for
the
a check.
yeah.
I mean,
But
honestly,
I
that's a
don't
good check.
I never I never discouraged him. He's still one of the best ever. Like I don't look down on people trying to tell how
Yeah,
things work out because
yeah.
I'm tired of people already saying it's fake. So like why not just tell them the whole truth? Screw it. But
Fuck kayfabe is
but
what
just
you're saying.
well no. I believe because I'm one of those true believers that telling a story is the best way to do wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
agree.
keeping the story going is one of the top things for me.
I agree.
Um, but just like every era, it evolves and changes. So you have to evolve and change with that, but still
Mm-hmm.
keep your
I agree.
values
I agree.
and try to manifest it into the new way of things. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree. So
Yeah,
let me
that's
ask you a
true.
Just like
question. You've been a student of the game, far as a fan, a promoter, a wrestler. What are certain things that's missing in the game today in wrestling?
well, letting a lot of stuff out of the bag, like where things are going story lines. Because a lot of news stuff are already predicting. Predictions are awesome, but when it's an actual fact and it comes out that way, it sucks when you're watching the product and it actually happens.
Like the leak and
I
stuff.
still
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they shouldn't be no stooges talking to Dave, telling him, "Yo, this is what's going on" and stuff like that. It shouldn't be like that. Just
But
let
I'm pretty
people
sure Dave
let
asks us to.
yeah, but I don't see nobody hitting up the writers of General Hospital asking for spoilers
Nah, listen.
or
If I
you know
could,
what I'm
I would. Because that was a
saying?
time.
Nah, but she's
Just
right though.
saying.
No, no, no. Honestly, she is right though. Like any TV shows,
If
like
I
he's right.
could,
Cause like,
I
for
would.
example, I don't know, I don't know what's gonna happen at the end of certain shows, like Abbott Elementary, Power, none of that. It's kind of like, yo, is it going that way? Is it not going that way? That is true though. Like when it comes to wrestling, we gotta know what's gonna happen. Oh, Cody. Personally, reason why that I like not knowing spoilers like current events because it takes away from it. Like honestly, unless I'm working as a referee, that's the only time I want to know. Cody losing at WrestleMania, perfect, perfect,
So it's so funny
perfect.
because even when it comes to like booking shows and stuff like that, like there's certain things I actually like shoo away. Just so it's still a part of me that can enjoy as the fan. Like I can put the fan hat on for 2.5 and be like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen because people always think I know everything, and I just like I don't know. And sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. So like I be for real, but I love the moments for me, and I agree with you. And I think that's the essence of missing in wrestling is that whole like mystery, that whole like the unknown. And we live in a social media era where everybody knows everything that's happening at all times. So it takes away from that mystery. It takes away the mystique. It takes away you really enjoying it the way that you kind of remember growing up. Like you didn't have spoiler alerts growing like in the 90s. No one knew what was gonna happen. Like you didn't know who was really hurt. You didn't know who was really together. Like you didn't know anything. I think a part of that essence it has been lost. But I love the moments where like, and Vince, you could probably relate to it as a booker and someone that puts things together, where you set matches up and moments up for your talent, and they think one thing, but everyone else knows is going to be the complete opposite, and being able to give the talent a genuine reaction to things, so where and they appreciate that, and it's a moment you guys can all share. Like I always go back to the first Jobber Slam when the tag match with Main Event and Sea Stars. Main Event didn't know they were winning the whole time. They was like, Sea Stars, they went over the match with Steve. Everybody knew but them. So their genuine reaction to when they got the count was a genuine reaction. And those are the moments like on the indies that I love. Like I love giving the guys that I've known and seen work their ass off have a moment, because that's really what the business is about. Like, so Vince, what's your one moment? Like you were like, this was
Good
the
question,
shit.
Janelle.
Like I don't forget this moment. What was one moment? I know you probably got a few. What was one though?
Wow. Well, pretty much my debut in Florida, because it was in front of a packed house of 2,000 people. The last time I worked a big crowd like that was during a music festival, and they didn't care if I bumped or not. So, but in Florida, it was just that reaction and how I got a standing ovation after my match, and people were like, bring him back, and that was cool. That and the stuff I did with NYC, I think that whole
I
vibe
was
and
sad
era.
when it stopped. And I tell Jarrell that all the time. And we've had a conversation, so I understand more than I probably should. But I love those times for y'all. Like those shows were so critical for New York City independent wrestling.
We
Like,
went to a
Yes.
couple of them, right?
yeah, that was the match where you saw Vince throw the guy on the pillar. Like,
You know what it is? It's just like I haven't heard that initials in so long that
well, yeah.
I don't remember the like I don't remember the logo no more. Like that venue that y'all had in there, it just felt like a real to me, it felt like Lucha Underground, because that's how in there
Let's
was.
just say, like a good battle rap spot where everybody come
Yes,
together.
better.
It,
Yes.
it had that vibe, and I totally missed that. And but that's what I'm trying to do with my promotion, man. I'm trying to bring that vibe back. So once we get these positive things about New York coming back in, I can't wait to promote my first show in New York. That's what I'm waiting
Woo!
on.
That I can
That's
promise you I'll be there for as long as I'm in town. But but before we wrap up, um Vince, tell us a little bit more about what you guys may be having down in the pipeline for Shadow, and then also
Mm-hmm.
real quick plug you, the Jurassic Juggernaut, what shows you have coming up this summer, what you got going on.
okay. Shadow Wrestling Alliance. Our show this Sunday, May 28th, live on Fight TV. If you can't be there in person, we'll be in Richfield Park, the Mecca. Um, just pretty
I
much
think I might be
the
there.
division of Shadow. The division of Shadow Wrestling Alliance is we're presenting something that you ain't never seen before. Just like no one never seen Ninja Mac in Richfield Park. We're the first to do it. That's the good thing. Having Brian Keith involved, Calvin Tankman, my core guys. Shout out to all of them, and shout out to you guys, Jabatiers, with sponsorship, and all the sponsors that are going to be involved with this show. Um, we're planning on doing a lot. We'll be doing another show in Puerto Rico. I think that will be the next show after this. Once we get the day all settled, we'll definitely promote it like crazy and stuff like that. And that's about it for now for Shadow. You know, we don't want to count too many of our chickens for the hatch. So
I get it.
I agree.
Puerto Rico's in the works. Definitely gonna be a show, but we're still working on the date for sure. But hopefully it'll be sometime before the summer ends, or probably right after the summer. Um, for myself, I'm gonna be on the 27th this Saturday. I'll be debuting at a new wrestling promotion in Philadelphia called Phoenix Wrestling Federation, and I'll be going one on one with Savio Vega's biggest student in the name of Mr. Big. We're fighting for their world title. Yeah,
Mr. Biggs. That's so like
Mr. Big.
he has a strength for 10 men, from what I told.
Wait, hold on,
So
what?
he has a
He has a
strength for
strength
10
of
men.
10 men?
Wait.
10
Hold
men.
on.
10,
Wait.
10, 10.
Because
So did you
we
tell
all
him
know
you got the
that
strength of 20? Like, no, what are we talking
exactly.
about here?
I got strength of 20.
What are we talking about?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying nothing. I'm gonna surprise him on Saturday.
Oh,
What I
okay,
got,
my bad.
you
Okay.
know.
He not watching this.
And then we have Shadow the following day. I'm going one-on-one with pro wrestling's biggest poppy, Big Cuzzo.
Big Cuzzo. Shout out to Big Cuzzo, the Fallout
Big
Texas.
Cuzzo, Fallout. Love that dude.
And then I'm making my debut in what is it? What is it? Dang, I got the logo, but I'm using the phone that I have here.
First of all, we already know
But
your side manager that's behind the camera should know too. 'Cause I know he's still there.
no, he doesn't know my dates.
Oh, okay.
I deal with my dates. He just deals with Shadow, you know.
Shadow. Oh, okay.
But it's for a local promotion. It's in Alta Avenue in the Bronx. Janelle, I'll send you the flyer.
Yeah, send it to me. If it's in the Bronx, then that's definitely something we could probably pull up to.
Yeah,
easier than fucking
It's
River Rock.
I don't know if you've seen it. Chris Barton is going to be a part of the show. Jay Lover is going to be a part of the show. A lot of like Doghouse vets are going to be there. It's dang, I'm trying to remember the name of the damn show.
But it's okay. When you get it, we gonna post it, and we gonna always show love and show out. So don't worry about that. But all right, last. Oh, go ahead, finish.
And then last but not least, I'm gonna be in Chicago in August 19th to be exact, to be a part of the Square Circle Mega Stars Mega Clash. It's a 40-man battle royal.
19?
August 19th, yeah. And it's a 40-man battle royal, Royal Rumble style.
Why?
40-man. Wow.
Well,
why?
Well, because I don't know. You know, Starcade had a big battle royal.
MLW, the battle riot is 40. There's 40 dudes.
Oh, they did.
But
did they do it in Chicago? Did they do it in Chicago?
Probably not yet. They used to do. Well, they've been doing a battle riot here, and then now they're doing it at 2200 Arena. But
Chicago, well, Chicago, they're big on 40-man battle royals for some reason. Like
you know what? All right,
I think the first Starcade had a 40-man battle royal.
Chicago. Wow. Okay, send me the info for the Chicago one. All right. I feel like every time I go, I always miss indie wrestling by like a week. It's ridiculous. The only time I actually see wrestling in Chicago was when I did Impact.
Yeah. You went the week before I was supposed to be there.
Right. But the week I went, I ended up going to Impact, so that worked out. But I've been dying to do indie wrestling in Chicago for a long time. But so all right. So before we do, so as you gave us our flowers in the beginning, now it is your turn to get yours. So for the best big man in the business, 22 years, we appreciate you. I appreciate you professionally and personally because everybody doesn't know you have the biggest heart in the world. Even though he looks tough, he's a softie. But I love what you've given to the business. I appreciate on our behalf. We appreciate what you've given to the business. Your blood, your sweat, your tears, your time. Because everybody doesn't know you a father, so that's a sacrifice in itself.
How's your kids, by the way?
Go ahead, Vince. Tell them about your oldest. How old's your oldest? We
Yeah,
were just
man.
talking about
I
this.
got I got an 18-year-old man. He just turned 18 on Saturday. Yeah, man.
Little man.
Shout out to Gabriel, man. Mr. 18. Yeah, legal to vote. Yeah,
That's what I
man.
said. I said, ooh, I said, ooh, you old. But I meant that with all love. But no,
Yeah.
it's dope to see your career still going because a lot of people over 20 years they put up them boots. So the fact that you're able
Yeah,
to still go
a
is
lot of guys I
actually
started
really
with
good.
is no longer in the business. I'm like, wow.
No, they're so far removed from the business. So no, it's a testament to you wanting that this is a part of this is your calling, this is who you are, and we just appreciate everything you've done for the business and also being a part of Shadow and always supporting the Jabba Tears podcast because like I mentioned in the beginning, you were one of our first guests. Like you did me a solid and was coming you came on and we had a good time. So it's good. It's a full circle moment for us but other than that, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for all you've done for professional
Thank
wrestling.
you.
So just make sure you know you are loved and always cared about. But as once again Vince mentioned, this Saturday he will be in Philadelphia fighting Mr. Big, random as fuck. But then Sunday, Shadow Wrestling Alliance, Ridgefield Park, live on Fight TV app. If you're
Ready
not
or
there,
not. That's the name of the show. Ready or not.
I like it. I
I might
love
be
it.
there. I think I might be there, Vince, as referee. I'll let you know. I might be there because
All right,
Nick
cool.
told me to
Wouldn't
be
you?
there.
Oh, okay. I was like, wouldn't he know
Nice,
if you
nice.
were wrestling? If you're right, but cool. But also too, we're sponsoring Yaya this Sunday, and then Shadow Wrestling will be sponsoring Big Cuzzo for Battle Club Pros do the fight thing too. So we appreciate once again the love and the support. Please drop your socials so everyone knows how to find you.
Okay, Facebook, Vince Steele, or the Jurassic Juggernaut on my fan page. Um,
Ooh, fan
Instagram is
page.
still Vince. And I had to get a new Twitter because my joint got hacked and suspended for life. It's JJV Steele on Twitter now. So
Who hacked you and turned all the way up?
I don't know, man. They just they was advertising dildos and everything on me, man.
Oh, can't do that on the Bluebird now.
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Yes, you can.
You can't.
there's a,
But
there's a dark web, man.
yeah, so keep that shit over there. But anyway, once again, to the best big man in the business. Don't care what anyone else
Best.
says. That is my opinion. And I said it, so it's fact. Vince still in the building. Thank you so much for taking the time out on the JTP Lounge. Once again, guys, make sure to follow and support Shadow Wrestling Alliance and also Vince Steele and all the guys on the team. As he mentioned, they are the ones to look out for, the up and coming guys. So make sure to just support them
First
as best as possible.
class,
There you go.
Mantis, Ghost Shadow. There's some of the guys that Chris Barton. We got a whole lineup of guys.
No, and it's super dope. So super glad to see you guys still on the up and up and keep it going because this shit ain't easy. But as always, I'm Janelle from HR here with Mr. Black. Hashtag Black Excellence. Hashtag we are out.